I want to be the best builder. I don't want to be a design build. I don't want to, we have amazing designers and architects we work with.
How you work with architects and designers early on.
I call it dating or speed dating with our clients. We're going to go probably talk to 2 or 3 architects. With the first one, you'd be like, sold, I don't need to go any further. Or we might need to meet with 4 because 3 wasn't good enough.
Welcome everybody to another episode of Unconventional Materials. Joining me today is the one, the only RJ Smith from RJ Smith Co. Recently rebranded from my understanding.
Yes, sir, that's correct.
And we are located out, and we're actually shooting this live from the headquarters in Manhattan Beach. Is that right?
Yeah, this is our main conference room. We bring only the special people into to see. We call the Wall of Fame here.
I love it. I love it. And I have a lot of questions about all these different projects that I see on the Wall of Fame.
Yeah.
But I guess we'll just kind of kick off with your story, RJ. I know I did some research on you. I did some digging on you. And UCSB graduate.
Go Gauchos.
Go Gauchos. You spent a lot of time on the beach in your college years, but you also grew up in Manhattan, Redondo area.
Redondo,
right?
Correct.
Okay, sweet deal. So you're around the area. I guess, who the heck are you? And why are you here right now?
Yeah, I mean, gosh, lot to unload with that. Appreciate the intro. Thanks for having us on the show. But yeah. Born and raised Redondo Beach. I'm literally still in the street I grew up on. Fortunate enough to buy a house. My stepsister, myself, one of my best friends, and my dad still lives on the street.
No kidding.
Still going. He's 84, works with us, which is great. Yeah, I went to Redondo High, UCSB. I actually played baseball up there.
Let's go.
Yeah, it was amazing. Fortunate enough to go play baseball in Europe for mostly traveling purposes.
Okay.
Not as amazing as it sounds. It was great. Moved to Hawaii for a hot minute. And was like, man, I better start working. I had an opportunity for a sales job and a job with my stepfather, who's been a builder for over 40 years now.
Yeah.
And chose that one because I'd been kind of doing it on and off my whole life anyway.
Yeah.
And it was great. That first year, I started my own company, still worked with him. Mm-hmm. Worked with him and my mom for 7 years. Mm-hmm. Design build, which is kind of new for back then, basically 2003.
Yeah.
And then went to work for a developer for 3 years and then been on my own since. So been doing construction 23 years, which is...
At this point.
Man, it's great. I mean, it doesn't even sound like that's the right number, but yeah.
My research showed me, because I want to go deep into the background bag, because I think that, your childhood, your upbringing is a big influence that kind of leads you to the point that you're at today. I mean, it certainly had an influence on me and the decisions I made, but your mother and your stepfather ran this design build operation, and so you got to see the perspective of somebody who has a really heavy design background and somebody who's like, oh, hold on, let's reel it in, and let's not maybe choose these things on the blueprint, right?
I mean, not only that, which is absolutely correct, it's also the personal side.
Yeah.
How are you married to this person that you're working so much with? My wife's in real estate, so she's peripheral for our business. Sure. But yeah, my mom and stepdad were extremely instrumental in how I learned to build, how I saw design, and even that developer I went to work for, he was a major influence in design. One of the things that I was always good at was seeing the end product and understanding the design because of my mom, right? Look at this, look at these things, have this stuff. And then my stepdad, well, how are you going to logistically get there to make that happen? And, what's weird is you'd think from going through that you'd be like, almost, I know it all. Yeah. And what I've really come to the understanding is let the professionals be the professionals. Mm-hmm. So when I see a design build firm, I'm a little bit hesitant because I want to be the best builder. Yeah. I don't want to be a design build. I don't want to we have amazing designers and architects we work with all day, every day that are so specialized and so amazing. Mm-hmm. And for me to even think that I could do part of that is detracting and taking away from what they do. Yeah. And it's taken a long time to figure that out for myself. But once that's become more crystal for me, it's been amazing. And we have such great people we get to work with, so it makes it easier. But having that background definitely helps.
I believe it. And I think that's something that permeates through what you just said was humility. It's like one of the traits that I think kind of allows you to think in this way and empower the people who are working in this office that I just walked through. But I think one of the big reasons why humility maybe permeates is because of who your father is. and your father works alongside you in the day-to-day of your operation.
Yeah.
And so talk to me about that, because I think he has a college professor background.
You did do your research.
Yeah, I'm telling you.
Let's go.
Like Nardbar.
So, so he was a professor at Pierce College, Woodland Hills.
Yeah.
Growing up was amazing because he'd either be working or off, and typically around our kids' schedule. Parents were divorced, but it was amazing with that. And then he got the opportunity to retire early, really early.
Yeah.
And he'd been doing finished carpentry in the summers. And a lot of times growing up, I'd be his assistant, which was not fun. And then fast forward years later, when I went to work for that developer, I needed someone I could trust, I could be with. He had been building a couple homes on his own here and there, just kind of for fun.
Yeah.
And I kind of plugged him in as my plug and play guy for kind of everything from helping me run jobs, helping with clients, just helping. And he's been with me since I've been on my own, which is, I think, 15 plus years now. He's still a part of it. Like I said, at 84, he's rocking and rolling and still instrumental in how we shape really our culture in the company and understanding that it still is very personalized and very family first, the way that it is, taking into account our employees become family. Yeah. But even the experience and just the knowledge that someone has that's been on this earth 84 years of life.
That's beautiful.
So it's great.
I think one of the coolest things when I was doing some research about you is the fact that your father working to the capacity that he does right now in the company sends a really big message to the rest of the team, which is if RJ's dad is willing to do certain things, clean certain spaces up, take care of making sure that the baseboards are level and things like that, what message does that send to the team at large? Which is, nothing is above anyone. It's just a matter of the work product. So
he still rolls around with his tools in the back of his truck. literally. I mean, it's crazy. So it's a great point. I mean, I think our team from the top down, and I'm level with a lot of the people at the top, it's not just me, understands that aspect of how we do stuff, and that nothing is beneath anybody. You just saw I would just set up this room in 5 minutes. Those are 2 project managers and one of my I don't want to say gophers, but my go-to guy that does like what my dad does. Anything you need, let's make it happen. That's translates to the clients too, which is kind of how we operate.
And the make it happen mentality, I think it bleeds into this. I could probably call you a philosopher to some degree, because I read up of something called your Invisible Manifesto.
Oh yeah.
And so, talk to the audience about, I guess, like what the Invisible Manifesto is for those who don't know.
Yeah, I mean, it's really just understanding who you are, and I've been on the life journey for 47 years. Realistically, the last 2 years have been bigger, and just the fact that I'm not drinking. I'm trying to be more aware of what we're doing in our company because it's getting bigger and more substantial, but also still being present with my family. I have 2 boys and I help coach. I'm there at every game as much as I can. My wife to be a good husband. So it's hard to do everything and then still to be inspired to do more, which right before we had this meeting, I had another meeting with my whole team about kind of updating where we're at and what's going on. And they're still big goals and build big visions to make those things happen with still being grounded. So to have the kind of manifesto to understand how that all works is still just starts with being grounded and being normal and still not being desensitized to all the things that we deal with on a daily basis.
What prompted that 2 years ago? Was it something specific?
It really wasn't. It's funny. Like everybody's asked me that question, like, oh, were you drinking too much or was this too much? And to be honest, it wasn't. It was like trying to feel better, which I work out every day. I have to do something, just my mentality to make me feel normal. And I just wanted to see how much more I could push that. And it's been great. I mean, I love it. I've been reading. Books on tape or audio, however you want to call it. I've probably gone through, in a year, it's been almost a year, over a year and a half since I haven't drank. And I've probably gone through at least 30 to 40 books. Wow. I mean, I think I'm up to about 2 a month, if not 3. So it's great. And nothing that preempted that, but you see the happiness that it gets you and those endorphins that it gets you and all those things, like you just want more of that. And for me, I've never been a big book reader, and to all of a sudden open my mind to that in a different way. It's been awesome. I mean, I can't get enough of reading great books, and it's all about business learning. I never read a tax book my first month because I was so focused, and I learned 3 things out of this 9-hour tax book, but it shows that I could get through it, I could comprehend it, I understand it, I took something away from it, And for me, that was probably the biggest takeaway from that.
One of the biggest things that I've taken away just like from my short period of time just being with you is that you do have a continuous learning mentality, and that again just shows up in how your brand shows up online, the videos that you make that I obviously made a comment on, and things of that sort. I guess I'm just kind of curious, like more recently, what have been like one of the biggest like learning lessons or influences that you've had through some of these books that you've read?
Probably understanding myself and my limitations, and then being able to, DB these things off. So the Who Not How is a great book where it's like, okay, I could be sending these emails, I could be making these phone calls, but I got an assistant over 3 years ago. That was brand new. What do I need an assistant for?
Yeah.
Started me better about that for my latest book that I just read, is Visionary, which is really about what I do, which is what's the vision of the company, what's the direction, how do you see things going, but also then there's an implementer of that visionary, I'm sure you know, right? Sure. And so making sure my head of staff, who is becoming that, reads that book and really gets to know how crazy I am about certain things, but understanding that for her and for me, so it's normal, right? When I'm like, I want to do this big grandiose thing, and then I'm irritated in a month when it's not done.
Right.
Okay, RJ, well, it takes time. You can't do that. So someone understand that. So probably the biggest thing I've learned is for sure knowing myself better, and then surrounding myself with complementary people to that, which I for sure have great staff.
It's so like cool to hear this, because I work with a lot of 8-figure design build firms, and I think that one of the biggest things at this level is the founder's I guess story, or their evolution from running a smaller company to a staff of, I think you guys have 16 plus employees, with 80% of them being female employees.
Yeah, we actually are just under 30, and we have probably easily predominant women that work for us.
Huge.
Yeah.
And I mean, hiring people in the custom home building space specifically, naturally and historically a very volatile industry. I see that you guys use talent as a hedge against the volatility of the industry.
Yeah.
So
again, when I first started, we trained project managers. Like, never to say my way is the right way, but I knew that my way worked.
Yeah.
So it'd bring people up, and then we got to be too busy, and I'm like, we can't do that. And over the last probably 3 to 4 years, we've had unbelievable talent that have more experience than myself in building that are amazing, and then be able to plug and play them into our systems. And then we've gotten even bigger with our systems. I created all the systems we had before. Basically next month, I did everything, set it up, and now it's like there's these bigger systems to do that. So again, staying ahead of the curve and being on that stuff, and being open to doing that stuff, and not being so, this is the way, this is it. It's like you can't do it. You have to constantly be changing if you want to be better.
And I see that I guess like the versatility also shows up in how you guys interface with clients.
Oh, big time.
And so there's a couple of things that I want to specifically highlight as it relates to the clients and some of the projects you guys have done. I guess the first thing is the fact that, I'm trying to think of the quote, I think is, you have earned the right for a project to not be your second job. Is that right?
Yeah.
And so where did that come from? And well, I guess like, why did you choose to message that?
It's just that we want to make sure that, when we build these things, we're very fortunate, right? Like people, and the people that we're building for, making sure they understand that they're fortunate too, right? And like building someone's house, it becomes a home. So for the project managers, one of the big things that I always try to explain or really get into with them, like, you're going on this journey with this client and family potentially together, and that you're a part of that too. You're not just some subordinate or some outside person. So I feel like that kind of quote kind of ties it together, where no one's secondary and everybody's part of the team, including the client is part of that team. So it's, just important to me that the staff and everybody else understands it as well as the clients that are going through it.
And the clients that you guys work with, you guys definitely don't work on small projects by any means. I mean,
it's all relative depending on
depends, right? But I mean, we're talking about a 4-mile radius is pretty much like your stomping ground, and within that 4-mile radius, you guys have worked on some pretty remarkable projects.
Yeah.
I guess what kicked the door in to start working on some of these projects?
Man, geez, tough question. when I started working with my stepdad, some of the first things we were doing, we were builders for spec home developers.
Okay.
And I got to build a McMansion 4 blocks from here, and ended up that was a home being built to sell spec home, right? And that got bought by a billionaire, and they couldn't have been the like more nice people that you would never expect to be that kind of person, especially my mid-20s having that happen. Just not the expectation and understanding what it took to build that property. At the same time, I was building multi-units. So you're understanding how you can stack people and get quality together. So kind of running, I call it organized chaos when you're doing these bigger builds. And I love it. I just realized I thrived in that. So cutting my teeth doing that particular project, you know, it's an 8,000 square foot home, shoring, which is below grade stuff, things that I had done, but not at a home or a multi-unit. So understanding how it translated over kind of made me feel like I could kind of conquer anything at that point, and then just kept building up from there. We've done some way more crazier things in that project to this point.
And what are some of the things that I guess like stick out to you in terms of like the crazier or the craziest?
God, another tough question. I would say, you know, for a professional basketball player, we did a sports court in his basement.
How cool.
And that was, I mean, gosh, that was probably 15 years ago, which now we're doing a similar situation for a client on the Strand, which is right by the water. So easier to do it further away. Now we're doing it right there. And then we're doing it like we did an automated pool for a hockey player, which basically, you know, you can have a backyard or a pool depending on what you do. And that, again, we did that a while ago. Some of the stuff now that we're doing that's just really tricky is just engineering feats where we're putting pools and jacuzzis on 3rd and 4th stories of homes with the basement, all these things. But, you know, the toys for everybody that they get now is just the golf simulators, the media rooms, the wine bars, car simulators. I mean, there's not a whole lot you can't do now with some of these properties.
I think that beyond, like, I guess, obviously working with higher end clientele and things of that sort, what's really interesting is that how you involve designers and architects into the mix. So can you talk me through, I guess, how you work with architects and designers early on?
Great question. One of my favorite things to do is break the cycle of how it works in new construction primarily. Or I guess heavy remodeling. So what I like to do is have the clients come to us first and we build the team. Again, like I talked about before, the client is part of that team, architect, designer, and obviously the builder. The reason I like that is you set the expectation day one, what the budget's going to be, which is always a scary question, and what the timeline's going to be. So when we start off with those tough questions and answers early, it's easy to pick the team. So based on that feedback from my clients, we get to pick that team. And again, that's not to say that certain architects who are super high end won't work with a $5 or $7 million build. They will if it's a good fit. But I get the opportunity to make that introduction. Say, hey, these guys typically do $10 to $20 million homes, whatever. Let's have a conversation because I think your style, the way that you guys operate could work. And a lot of times, not to toot our home, other designers, architects want to work with us because they understand we like to get it done. We like to be very efficient with our time and our builds. So no one's wasting time with what we're doing. So it's one of my favorite processes. I call it dating or speed dating with our clients. Like, we're going to go probably talk to 2 or 3 architects. We might meet with the first one, you like sold, I don't need to go any further, or we might need to meet with 4 because 3 wasn't good enough. Or we do follow-up. So it's a really fun process to do, and it makes it so much more client-focused and really getting what they want. Because a lot of times the clients will go to that designer or that architect first, which again is not the bad part. It's when they give me the plans. RJ, we want to build for $4 million. I'm like, it's 6. What can we do? I'm like, there's only so much. There's only so much value engineering I can do. So that's where I'm trying to break that cycle and do that. And we probably about 75% of our clients come to us first.
That's great.
Even help to buy the land or to help pick out the property to do that so they know exactly what they're getting.
And I see that the company is moving into more development, if I understand correctly.
We're not there yet, but I mean, I love development because I love to be that's the creative side of me where, again, we still have an architect and a designer, but I get to be the big cheese in that deal and make the decisions. But a lot of them too are based on our custom homes that we're building. So client A wants a 7,500 square foot lot, can't find it here. Okay, I'm like, well, I found one, but it's a different location,
Sure.
very similar to what they want. That client may or may not want it, but now I know there's people looking for that type of desirable
Right.
thing. Plus, the way we finish it, the way we build it, is based on our custom home. So, yeah, we're ramping up the development side of our company for sure, but our custom home business is still, that's, you know, distant future ahead of our development stuff.
Home care.
Yeah.
This is the big one that I
Yeah.
want to talk about, mainly just because of the fact that I've worked with a good amount of 8-figure design build firms, and one thing that I preach to so many of these guys is that revenue retention is one of the most important things that a design build firm can have, because you don't ever want to start from zero every single time that you finish off a project. And what you guys have done, my understanding, is you have at least started the process of taking the most stressful part of the customer journey on the design build side, which is punch list and warranty and the closeout.
Yeah.
And you guys have taken that and created an ascension path to show that, hey, wait, there's more to this relationship potentially.
I mean, it's comical more people don't do it. We've had a couple local people try and emulate what we're doing.
Right.
The fact of the matter is, there's not a ton of money in it.
Yeah.
That's the very truth of the fact. But, you know, for me, keeping the clients happy is the most important. But it started during COVID. Everybody's at home.
Yeah.
They want to complain about the doors not working, the HVAC, the plumbing. I'm like, did you get it serviced?
Right.
Did you look at that warranty packet I gave you? Remember that walkthrough that we did? Remember the checklist we did?
Yeah.
So I've tried for years to give the clients all the tools, we still do, to do all these things on their own without us.
Yeah.
But there's just so many clients on anything, like, who are too busy to wash their car.
Yeah.
They're too busy to change the oil. Like, I get it. Everybody works. So I look at it as like, it's the most expensive investment you're making in your life.
Yeah.
Millions of dollars for this home to build, let alone what it's worth.
Right.
Why wouldn't we take care of that to the best of our ability?
Yeah.
So again, we started with doing home maintenance. We turned it into home care. Thank you for noticing.
Yeah.
Again, like, love that part of our business because, one, it keeps our products looking great.
Yeah.
Keeps the clients happy, which helps out for referrals. So to your point, the retention, like, why wouldn't we want to do that? We just had this conversation with our team. Like, I would rather spend money fixing a client's door, window, siding that shouldn't be on my dime, but that keeps that client super happy. And every time, 10 times over, RJ's the guy, let's do it with him. Why wouldn't you use him? You can't buy that kind of advertising.
No.
So when we do that too, you know, this is what's funny from this process. I've probably been personally more about quality of building during that process than when we do the builds, because I get to see what products last, what really works. That slick, killer, floating design we wanted to do 2 years later is rotted out and terrible.
Right.
That's not what we set out to do. So how can we make that better? So we found different vendors that help with the home care, different vendors that do maintenance, different vendors for our building because of that. So it's really been a great process too, because one of the biggest things I still get with when we're building, I want to do Carrara marble in my kitchen, but it's going to stain.
Sure.
We can't do it. I go, why can't you do that? I have it in my kitchen. Oh, well, you're the builder. No. There's companies that do that type of work. They will coat the countertop, not a film, not something cheesy. They will coat your countertop. Great for you. There we go. There's your plug. Basically, like, literally do a great job with that, where I have a fully integrated sink with the slab. I've been in my house now 5-6 years. I've had it touched up twice because of pots and pans, but it's bulletproof.
Yeah.
And I love saying that word. Bulletproof is my favorite thing. I do not have to worry about it.
Yeah.
So there's all kinds of great things that you don't realize that the builder, because you're not doing the home care part of it.
Sure.
So again, appreciate you understanding that.
Yeah, I think that the other part of home care that maybe is not so talked about is the depth of the client relationship. So getting to spend more time with your client than you otherwise would.
Absolutely.
And one of those things that allows me to see that you really do understand clients is the relationship in the bedroom. Not to get too weird.
Yeah.
But I think you had highlighted at one point that the modern or traditional understanding of like the bathroom door space, how you're not a big fan of the open arch bathroom door space because you understand that there is, some quality in sound not escaping every single room. So
pocket door, same deal. This drives me crazy.
What kind of led to that for you?
It's just saying to your point, like knowing the clients.
Yeah.
I mean, I had a huge billionaire builder, top builder in the U.S. for many years on. We built his daughter and the husband's home, and he was adamant about noise in the bathroom. It's something where I'm not thinking about that.
Yeah.
That's not a priority to me. And we went through that with him literally within probably 3 minutes, because he was like, bro, I mean, very direct individual. And I learned a ton in that moment where these things that you don't think mattered.
Yeah.
And also when guests are there in your home in a powder room as opposed to you and your primary, there's a big difference. So quality for what you're doing in certain spaces really does matter.
Depth is like something that, again, I just feel like permeates all throughout what you guys do. I know you guys are doing big things for 2026 and beyond. What is on like the main priority, the one thing I guess we'll say for RJ this year?
Typical, my goals fills up that whole chalkboard you can't see over there. But
yeah.
The one thing, man, really tough to say. I'd say by far, first and foremost, always the family stuff, right? It's making sure it's at the forefront line of an 8th grader who's graduating. So getting him down in the 6th grader, getting him just on, continuing on his good path. Business wise, I mean, just continuing the path. I mean, we're shooting for more of our higher end and better quality building for our custom homes, which honestly is from the clients, not just the dollar amount. And I still preach that. Like, I'd rather have a great client on a smaller budget than a horrible client on a massive budget. So that doesn't fit us. So that's fine. And then the development side, we're trying to double and triple that. We're also expanding our territory with that. But all those being said, it's very calculating the way we're doing it. We're not just shooting for the stars and hoping that it happens. So we're only going as big as we can and feel comfortable with doing it. Every time I describe it, we're kind of like here, we just go like this.
Yeah.
Just a little bit more. We're not doing this exponential bolt, just a little bit one.
Right.
And so we feel comfortable, so the quality and everything still stays there. So
I think part of the
couldn't
reason...
give you one answer, sorry.
I think part of the reason why you're maybe approaching it that way too is because you guys are in Manhattan Beach or Hermosa Beach. It's a 4-mile radius, and your reputation really is everything where everybody knows everyone. And so is that part of the reason why you've so methodically chosen to scale in this way?
Yeah. I mean, it's one, like we're looking at a development deal in La Quinta. That would actually, it's a development deal, not for myself, but it's custom homes.
Yeah.
And I have clients that live here that want us to go out there. That's the fact of the matter. It's not that I'm going, let's go to La Quinta because we have plenty of business here. But I mean, I want to make sure the quality of what we're doing is still up to my standard and to what I expect. And again, having great people is part of it, but them understanding what the ceiling is supposed to be and still pushing through that is extremely important. And, we had a meeting last week with my assistant and part of my internal team about my timing. And one of the things I'm going back to is a little bit more on site with the clients to get that touch and feel and to make sure they're understanding all the things we're doing behind the scenes are still up to the quality that they're expecting, but them seeing the stuff that we are doing behind the scenes so they know that it's not just being handled by Joe Schmo and somebody else. We're all talking about it together.
Sure. I think that there's a lot that you guys could get from this episode, but if there's one specific thing that you want to leave with the audience, RJ, as it relates to what it's like to work at RJ Smith or to work with RJ Smith, if you're an architect, designer, maybe even a homeowner. I'd
say to work with, like in my physical business, I think my employees are extremely spoiled because we care about what we do outside these walls, right? We do a lot of stuff socially together, but also the community that we have. And one of the things that I always missed out when I was building on my own, or even with the developer or my parents, you're still very isolated. And the community that I have with my project managers and my internal staff together to be able to collaborate to make things better, man, I tell them all the time, you guys get the benefit of my 1,000,001 mess ups on jobs that I get to tell you all about and what I paid for, where you guys don't have to benefit with that anymore. Questions, concerns, have us out there, let's do that. So I love that part of our company because it just makes me feel good because I know the quality still being there and being taken care of. I would say for the clients, for those things that they see is this, right? Like I'm exactly how I am on camera, how we do this stuff. That's why I started doing this, to kind of give a little bit more of a voice for the clients. But we work for the clients and it doesn't work without them. And I love all the opportunities that we get to be provided from our clients. So it's really special.
Let's go. That's awesome.
Yeah.
For those of you who want to find RJ Smith and the rest of the company, you guys can check out the company on down below in the description or in the show notes. Other than that, you could also check out the Instagram page too, which I will link. They're doing some awesome things with their content, which is kind of what attracted me to the page in the first place. But with that being said, I want to thank you, RJ, for being on the show, for being a guest on Unconventional Materials. And with that being said, we'll see you guys on the next episode.
Let's do it.
Awesome, dude.
Thanks, man.